I'm Sharyl Attkisson on the U.S.-Canadian border. The biggest police corruption case in FBI history, Operation Guard Shack, happened right here in Puerto Rico. This week, we wrap up Season 7 of Full Measure with highlights of some of your favorite stories and ours.
There's three things the Amish don't like, and that's government. They won't get involved in government. They don't like the public education system, and they also don't like the health system. Well, those three things are all part of what COVID is.
About a mile north of the Mexico border,
they're right in here.
Another group of illegal border crossers has scattered.
¿Dónde se fue tu compañero?
We began the ride-along with Border Patrol in McAllen, Texas, 2 hours before sunrise.
The closest point between these two countries, these two tiny islands.
Right now we're over the Bering Sea, and this is the maritime boundary line. In other words, Russia on one side of the plain, America on the other.
In the Canadian province of Alberta lies one of the possible answers to America's energy needs, Canadian oil, and lots of it.
We're right next door. They should be looking at us as the solution to energy security.
In your experience, is there a real increase in crime that we're seeing, or is this more perception than anything else? Welcome to Full Measure. I'm Sharyl Attkisson, and this is our special year-end edition, bringing together, as we do every season, our Full Measure correspondents for a look back at some of our travels and your favorite stories. We're tackling important issues in a way that's different from other news coverage. We devoted a lot of time to covering COVID-related stories. People were thirsty for news, views, and angles that other media weren't covering. One of our most popular stories was my report on how the Amish community handled COVID, facing it head-on instead of trying to avoid it, and finding things turned out relatively good for them compared to places that locked down. Here's an excerpt.
There's three things the Amish don't like, and that's government. They won't get involved in government. They don't like the public education system. They won't send their children to education, and they also don't like the health system. They rip us off. Those are three things that we feel like we're fighting against all the time. Well, those three things are all part of what COVID is.
After a short shutdown last year, the Amish chose a unique path that led to COVID-19 tearing through at warp speed. It began with an important religious holiday in May.
First time they went back to church, everybody got coronavirus.
Lapp says they weren't denying coronavirus, they were facing it head on.
It's a worse thing to quit working than dying. But to shut down and say that we can't go to church, we can't get together with family, we can't see our old people in the hospital, we got to quit working. It's going completely against everything that we believe. And you're changing our culture completely to try to act like they wanted us to act the last year. And we're not going to do it.
That story has gotten several million views online and is still going strong. We also covered vaccine mandate controversies, we followed the money on COVID relief fraud, and we paid several visits with the experts at Fort Detrick to get a reality check from the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. We've turned to their experts for a steady and rational look at COVID from the start. So early on, some people said the vaccines would prevent infection, which it didn't. Said it would prevent spread, which it doesn't necessarily. Said that nobody vaccinated would be very sick or ever end up in the hospital or die. And as each one of those things, people looked around and saw that wasn't the case among people that they knew. I think it chipped away at the things that were said that they felt they could believe in.
So expecting a vaccine to lead to no illness or no negative effects at all was very unrealistic. And I think it could have been messaged better that we expect. However, it's very clear that the vaccine is very advantageous at keeping people out of the hospitals. And it certainly is helpful as far as the symptoms that go along with it, decreasing those symptoms and allowing us to survive this infectious disease.
And of course, we also documented the overcounting of COVID deaths, as well as CDC audio recordings that show their top scientists and officials knew they were disseminating false information about COVID vaccine effectiveness in people who already had COVID, but continued doing it anyway. To date, no public word of accountability for that. Scott Thuman and Lisa Fletcher with us now have done remarkable work again this season. Glad you're here. Glad you're back with us. Scott, one of the big stories that you continued work on was what started out as the oil boom to what it is today in this country.
Yeah, and I think you'd both agree, political policies aren't something that traditionally excite viewers or get people to pay attention, but they really do start to pay attention when they're paying more at the pump or to heat their home. And well before the gas prices got as high as they are now, we were asking, if America has so many resources, so many rich opportunities, why can't we counter those rising costs? Prices are high, supply and demand aren't being met properly, so the government says, hey, Texas, hey, the rest of the country, produce more oil. Why isn't it that easy?
It's not that easy because we need some certainty taking place.
Certainty, he says, needed because producers want to know their investment in new wells will pay off for years to come. And some industry leaders say that's in doubt as the White House policies dramatically change the game, halting new permits on federal land, stopping pipelines, and making major clean energy commitments. It was a cornerstone of President Biden's campaign. Now, the administration will say, look, we're opening up land leases, reserves all across the country, 180 million barrels going out, and that they're encouraging more production here at home. But those oil and energy companies will say, look, if the future we think is going green, not black gold, we're less prone to investing in it. And of course, they say they also then have a hard time getting the funding to start new projects.
Makes sense. We'll be continuing to cover that. Lisa, one of your big stories had to do with, I don't know if it's an overstatement to say it's one of the biggest change in college athletics in many, many years.
Or ever. I don't think it's an overstatement at all. In fact, a lot of people thought this would never happen. We're talking about rule changes by the NCAA, and it was prompted by some activity in the courts, and that now allows college athletes to make money off of their name, image, and likeness. You've probably seen it referred to as NIL or NIL in a lot of the stories. But what this has done is opened up possibilities for them in terms of endorsement deals, other forms of compensation, and this universe of online marketing possibilities. Now, a big argument against this was that college athletes are already compensated in the minds of many because they get tuition, they get room, and they get board. So we went out to Atlanta to meet an NFL player who wanted to tell us why these changes were so necessary. Of course, none of this was an issue in the 70s when Tommy Tuberville played free safety at Southern Arkansas. And it was totally out of his hands as head football coach at Auburn. But now, as a U.S. Senator, Tuberville calls this new frontier of NCAA compensation a big experiment and believes if college athletes eventually earn a salary, ultimately a handful of schools will dominate sports.
You can't have some groups out there doing it one way in one state and some groups doing it another way.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you support Congress stepping in to essentially level the playing field.
Yeah.
So all the schools and all the student athletes are treated equally.
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag now.
And for some of the elite college athletes, this is kind of shocking. They're already poised to make millions of dollars making money off their name, image, and likeness.
And we're already hearing about controversies surrounding that. Coming up next, stay with us. Some of your favorite stories from our far-flung travels during Season 7 of Full Measure. Another one of the biggest challenges facing America today is our border crisis. And there's no sign the Biden administration plans to take any steps to quell the historic flow of illegal border crossers. This season, we were there witnessing some of the historic traffic, including those infected with COVID. Somewhere in this tall brush,
if it doesn't go any further, somebody may just come in here.
About a mile north of the Mexico border,
They're right in here.
another group of illegal border crossers has scattered.
¿Dónde se fue tu compañeros?
They're being tracked by Border Patrol agents following trails of trampled grass. We began the ride along with Border Patrol in McAllen, Texas, 2 hours before sunrise. In a matter of minutes, the first call. 9 people had just crossed the Rio Grande from Mexico.
Understand?
This woman tells us her 2 children came months ago and are waiting for her in Boston.
Her children came across by themselves, and one's 11, one's 14.
Border Patrol never closes, sleeps, or stops. And the Rio Grande Valley sector is the busiest in America during a record-setting year. This story became ever more relevant with the recent announcement that we had a record number of fentanyl overdose deaths at the same time we had record illegal border crossings, and we know most of the fentanyl comes across the southern border. Back to Scott Thuman. Some of your travels took you to the Mideast, where they're also having border disputes.
Yeah, absolutely. And these fights, which we've seen unfold for decades now, really seeing a spike as of late, as well as attacks happening inside Israel's main city of Tel Aviv. So we covered both sides of that issue and also covered a lot of ground from the Golan Heights to Gaza Strip. We interviewed the Palestinian Prime Minister, and we also rode along with the Israeli military. But what we found is there is still a desire from both sides for the U.S. to side with them and help ease some of the tensions. And as these attacks continue, especially in this case you're going to see here, coming not just from Palestinian territory, but also from Lebanon, which certainly complicates matters. Embedded with the Israeli Defense Force in the far north of the country, I sit next to a soldier, automatic weapon at the ready. These idyllic hills, the setting recently for a dangerous escalation.
Sadly, Hezbollah continues to roam these areas freely, build their rockets, stockpile them, put them in houses right next to schools.
Just days before arriving, and for the first time in 15 years, the Lebanese terror group Hezbollah fired 19 rockets into the area, Israel retaliating from the land and sky. Their sights set on the Islamic extremist military and political group opposing Israel and Western powers operating here. From the top of Mount Dove, some 3,000 feet above sea level, Lieutenant Colonel Amnon Scheffler unravels the threat matrix.
It has a lot to do with Iran. Iran is the sponsor for Hezbollah. Iran continues to bring the precision-guided missiles know-how and capabilities. And that is something that we're trying to stop.
And complicating everything are the settlements that continue to go up in some territories. Now, when it comes to the Biden administration, it seems almost every president always wants to put his mark on the Mideast peace process. So far, the Biden administration seems to be a bit hands-off, not making it the top priority.
Lisa, as far as your travels, some of them took you to Canada.
Right, and there's no denying that the war in Ukraine is impacting prices at the pump. I mean, driving in today, I consistently saw prices over $5 a gallon, but here's the crazy part. Canada has the 3rd largest oil reserves in the world. And when we heard that President Biden was calling on countries that are neither aligned with U.S. sensibilities and often hostile to our interests, like Iran, China, and Saudi, to produce more oil, we went to Alberta to understand what was possible and why the U.S. didn't immediately ask for more oil from Canada. An energy shock, the likes of which we haven't seen since the early 1970s.
And prices could keep rising.
A combination of rising prices, limited supply, and a sudden war involving sanctions on major oil producer Russia, leaving the U.S. and other nations scrambling to meet demand. In the Canadian province of Alberta lies one of the possible answers to America's energy needs, Canadian oil, and lots of it.
Mr. Speaker, they are looking for Alberta oil.
Sonia Savage is Alberta's Minister of Energy and a former oil executive. She's on a campaign to put her country's oil resources at the disposal of the United States. What can Canada do to help America's oil supply?
Here in Alberta, we sit on top of the 3rd largest reserves in oil in the world. The 3rd largest reserves, and we're right next door. They should be looking at us as the solution to energy security.
Now, we already get more than 60% of our imported oil from Canada. And the Minister of Energy, she told me that they could immediately up that by 10%, which more than compensates for the 3% loss that we're dealing with from Russia.
Amazing. I never knew any of that as far as Canada's supply.
Neither did I.
When we return, don't go away, because we're going to have a look at some of the hot button issues we tackled like nobody else. So much is happening with hot button issues, and you, our viewers, are obviously thirsty for fair, in-depth coverage of these stories. We tackled legalized marijuana, legalized sports betting, the controversies in America's schools, slave reparations, and America's crime surge. Senseless crimes captured on camera seem to provide hard evidence of a national crime wave. In your experience, is there a real increase in crime that we're seeing, or is this more perception than anything else?
No, I'm seeing it is definitely an increase in crime.
Robert Conti is police chief in the nation's capital, where, like other cities, graphic examples are piling up.
They're thieves. This is my car.
An Uber driver is killed when two children steal and flip his car.
These girls stole the car.
The girls responsible get sentenced to juvenile detention. An 11-year-old boy shot in the head, a 6-year-old girl shot and killed, 5 others wounded. You have any thoughts about some things that could be done?
There are many jurisdictions all around our country. You'll find people walking the streets who have been accused of committing a murder, but they've been released with an ankle monitor on, a home confinement or something like that.
We're going to continue covering all these issues as we head into the midterm elections, including a story that you are on, which has to do with gun rights.
Right. Well, some argue right now that there's a growing need for personal protection. And depending on where you live, obtaining a license to carry a concealed weapon may be quite easy or could be next to impossible. This season, we followed the case of 2 New Yorkers who challenged the state's restrictive gun laws all the way to the Supreme Court. Their attorney argued that New York's laws had turned what is a right for all Americans into a privilege for some, decided by the few. Many argue there's a great and growing need for personal protection and a constitutional right to bear arms embedded in the Second Amendment. Now, gun rights advocates are challenging New York's restrictive gun law in court on behalf of 2 people who were denied concealed weapon permits. At issue, the constitutionality of the system used by the state of New York to grant those permits. At the Supreme Court in November, attorney Paul Clement represented the 2 denied permit holders.
That is not how constitutional rights work. Carrying a firearm outside the home is a fundamental constitutional right. It is not some extraordinary action that requires an extraordinary demonstration of need.
And we're expected to hear from the court sometime this summer.
Scott, as tensions escalated between Russia and Ukraine, you headed to Alaska, which I thought was interesting. A lot of stuff you uncovered that I'd never heard of happening in Alaska regarding Russia.
Yeah, well, and the whole reason we decided to even pursue this story is because a couple of years ago I was reading how the U.S. really only had a couple of working heavy icebreakers, and other countries, especially Russia, were dominating, which is important since the waters of the Arctic are getting warmer, ice is melting, and there are vital resources up there. We're talking about oil, gas, minerals, fish. So Russia and China are on the move, the U.S. in some ways lagging, and so we got some pretty rare access to ride along with the Coast Guard. In Kodiak, Alaska, a Coast Guard ground crew rolls out a C-130J, known as a Super Hercules, preparing for a long-range mission. Today's task, patrolling the maritime boundary line, that invisible but very real divide between U.S. and Russian territory.
Right now we're over the Bering Sea, and this is the maritime boundary line. In other words, Russia on one side of the plain, America on the other.
The closest point between these 2 countries, these 2 tiny islands less than 3 miles apart. That's Russia's on the right, America's island on the left. This is a regular mission for the Coast Guard, both to see if Russian boats and aircraft are out here, but also to let the Russians know America is keeping a close watch. There have also been some very uncomfortable interactions, we'll call them, between Russian military and U.S. fishing vessels, and really harrowing moments. We've got some of those in our story, so I'd encourage people to go online and watch.
Yeah, you can watch reruns of our stories at fullmeasure.news. Don't go away. We're back in a moment with some Season 7 behind-the-scenes stories that we didn't tell you about. On our travels and shoots, of course, a lot of things happen behind the scenes that we don't always talk about in our stories, and we're going to tell you about a couple of them to end the program with today. Lisa,
sometimes a little embarrassing. I've interviewed a lot of professional athletes over the years, but never an NFL lineman. We go to Caleb McGarry's house in Atlanta. He opens the door, and I couldn't restrain myself. I just said, "Oh my gosh, you are ginormous." And I immediately thought I'd offended the man, and he laughed, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a big guy," and I think he's probably been told that many, many times, but you have no idea the difference between these guys in person and these guys on TV.
You felt very, very small.
I felt super tiny, yeah.
He's like a house.
He is like a house.
Yeah.
Scott, what about you?
We were finishing our shoot in Alaska. Mark Orchard, producer, photographer Lee Jenkins. We decided we want one shot of this glacier. So we go hiking kind of in the middle of the nowhere to get to it. And I see a rustling in the bushes ahead. And I grab my phone because I know it's either going to be a bear or a moose. And look what it was. Wow. This massive moose comes by.
It's huge.
Couple of heart palpitations because they say just don't be on a path in front of a moose. That's when it gets territorial and can be aggressive. So we had a dicey couple of seconds, but he kindly then just walked off into the bushes. We were good.
Mark and Lee didn't abandon you?
I never looked behind me. They were gone. They were out of there.
I say Moose went to look for squirrel. There you go. Well, I interviewed former President Trump at his New Jersey palace, the golf resort there, and they said he didn't have time to do a walk around afterwards like we'd like to do, but I asked him and he went. And here he showed me his new weight room at the club.
Oh my.
A funny thing he said, they tell me these are beautiful machines. I don't know what they do. He's always very friendly before and afterwards, particularly if you're doing an interview that he perceives as fair and not attacking him. So anyway, thanks for the great work. We look forward to Season 8, announcing now that we will be back in the fall for Season 8. That is a wrap for Season 7. Season 8 will be our 8th full year of Full Measure, and we're getting ready to head out now to begin traveling and shooting some new original stories for you in the Full Measure tradition, with some of our best episodes replaying in this spot over the summer. And a big thank you to our lean and mean Full Measure behind-the-scenes staff. What a great team we have. Until next time, we'll be searching for more stories that hold powers accountable.